Dear Diary, today after recess, Miss Johnson brought us back inside and she said we were going to have to talk about something kind of scary for a minute. I thought she was going to start talking about Monster House, so I got kind of nervous. But then Miss Johnson said that we had to talk about what if something like Columbine happened. I thought that sounded like a weird word. I'm still not sure what Columbine is because she didn't really explain it. She just said that it would be like a fire drill. And I like fire drills. I get to sit with Elise out in the grass for a few minutes. It's like another recess. But this drill wasn't so fun. Ms. Johnson made us all sit in the back of the classroom and she told us we had to be quiet. I hate being quiet, so that was no fun. But then she said that if a bad guy ever came to school, that we have to sit and be quiet like we did today. I wonder what she meant by a bad guy. My dad said not to worry though, because what happened at Columbine couldn't happen in our town. Dear Diary, today we had our first lockdown drill following the Sandy Hook shooting. All I could think of during it was how scared those kids must have been. Makes me sick to my stomach. I remember when I was in elementary school, we never did a shooter drill. I guess they didn't want to scare us. But looking back, wouldn't it have been better to prepare us? I mean, we're just kids. Shouldn't the adults be protecting us? School is supposed to be a safe place. And I remember my mom telling me when she was in school, she never did a shooter drill. That sounds crazy to me. Ever since Sandy Hook happened, I've been scared to come to school. Elise tells me that's silly. But every time I'm sitting in class, it's always in the back of my mind that any second it could happen. I mean, I remember when I was younger, my dad telling me that something like Columbine could never happen here, and I didn't question it because I was so young, but what's stopping it from happening here? At least now Miss Brugger teaches us what to do if there is a shooting. Now she tells us to lock the door and shut the lights off. She even told us not to go on our phones because the light might make us a target. I think that's really sad. It seems like there has to be something someone can do to keep this from happening. No one should have to feel this way. Dear Diary. Holy shit. I can't even begin to describe how I feel. I feel angry and sad and in shock. Today was our first day back at school since the Parkland shooting. During third hour, the fire alarm started ringing. No one knew what to do. Do we get up? Silence. Eventually, we found out that it was just a malfunction in the alarm system, but how sad is that? That we have to be in fear at our own school every time the fire alarm starts ringing because we don't know if it's real or not. I mean, it's exactly what happened at Parkland. That bastard pulled the fire alarm to lure everyone out and then just opened fire. I've even asked my mom at least twice this year if I can stay home because that's how many threats we've had called in. God, how is this our normal? I mean, I go to school every day, just waiting for the moment when my whole world is going to come crashing down. I even asked my teacher on the second floor if they've ever thought about getting ladders for the upstairs classrooms, in case, God forbid, something were to happen. She said no, because it's not in the budget. Guess they really don't care about us. And I remember even when I was younger asking my dad, how do these things keep happening? And he would say, Riley, I know it's sad, but there's nothing anyone can do. Oh, bullshit. He means there's nothing Trump will do. At least now we have specific plans in place if, God forbid, something were to happen. Now they teach us run, fight, hide. I always wondered, even in middle school, how it took them up until now to realize that just telling us to hide under a desk is stupid. It's not enough. Nothing short of sensible gun laws is enough. I even got in a fight with Elise today because she tried to tell me that sensible gun laws won't stop shootings. God, how can she think that? I mean, it's pretty simple to me. People with these guns kill people. I even thought about seeing a therapist because my anxiety is getting so overwhelming. I'm afraid to be at school. Why can't everyone Dad's age see that this is an issue? I hope Abby's okay. Dear Diary, I just got back to my dorm after getting into a heated debate with my 50-year-old IAH professor. Since it's a class on interpretations of the Constitution, we were talking about gun control, and I brought up the point that it's completely ridiculous that it is easier for this country to implement bulletproof backpacks than it is to stop someone from buying an AR-15. I mean, hello, isn't the fact that we even need bulletproof backpacks proof enough that something needs to change? And who the hell needs a semi-automatic weapon anyways? No one. He argued that the Second Amendment is a constitutional right and that if we lose our guns, we lose our freedom. To that, I say, how about you take a look at Australia and Japan, buddy? I mean, they banned guns and they haven't had a mass shooting since. And I brought up Abby for the first time ever. I told him that he should be a little more empathetic when he talks about gun violence. Because one of my best friends went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Yep. She was there that day. I mean, thankfully she was unharmed, but that just goes to show you that gun violence affects everyone. I mean, I'm sure he'd have a different opinion if he'd ever had a loved one in that situation. Oh, well. Speaking of childhood friends, it's no surprise that Elise ended up going to Liberty University. You know, the most conservative university in the country. She's a poli-sci major, literally a future Dana Loesch. And, you know, coming to college, I actually thought my anxiety would get better, but honestly, it's just gotten worse. I thought I'd feel safer because the campus is so big and we're not all congregated in one building. But then I got here and I realized they don't even do drills here. I mean, literally none. They don't even talk about shootings, much less the possibility of them, which I don't understand because school shootings are still very prevalent on college campuses. I mean, just thinking about Virginia Tech gives me chills. I do have hope for the future, though. If we can pull through and vote in this election, maybe students will have a chance. Maybe they won't have to go to school in fear, like I did. And still do. I have hope for the Columbine generation. Dear Diary, today is Natalie's first day of school. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. I even considered homeschooling her because I never want my daughter to feel the way I did going to school every day. But that's such a hard decision to make because as a parent, you want your child to go to school and make friends and think of school as a fun, safe place. I mean, it's hard enough when you're the one going into the potentially dangerous situation every day. But sending someone you love, as a parent, that is equally as terrifying. The most I could do for my daughter was buy her a bulletproof backpack. I mean, I never thought I would have to do that. I thought by now things would be different. And how can you send your child to school comfortably knowing that since 1970 there have been 1,316 mass shootings in America? And it's not just schools. I mean, you can't go to the movies or church or a concert without feeling uneasy. Natalie, honey, I will be with you in 1 minute, okay? If only that damn election had turned out differently. If Joe Biden had won, I know something would have been done. But Donald Trump has his hands stuffed too far down the NRA's pockets to ever consider doing anything. I mean, my view has stayed the same since high school. No one needs a semi-automatic weapon, period. It is literally designed to kill. It was the weapon of choice in Parkland, in Orlando, in Aurora, in Sandy Hook, and sadly so many more. That's why when people tell me their vote doesn't matter, I tell them it absolutely matters. Maybe if that election had turned out differently, I would feel more comfortable sending Natalie to school. Our kids' lives are literally on the line here.